I don't have them in my top echelon of teams. I think they've improved enormously, but I think they might just be found a bit willing when finals time comes around.
Welcome, everyone, to the Eddie and Jimmy podcast. This is the Weekend Predictors pod. Of course, we'll have a look ahead to the weekend's games. Just make sure you find us on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Eddie and Jimmy. And thanks to Fiji Airways and Hyundai. Hyundai, you can do big things with their new Alexio. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today. And of course, Fiji Airways. Visit fijiairways.com to book your flight to Fiji and beyond. Fiji Airways, where happiness takes flight. Sam Docherty joins me as he has all week. Eddie is continuing his sojourn around the world. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. Is he ever coming back, or am I just going to keep rocking up to this seat?
No, he might be trying to locate Carl. The way we'll keep on moving. Let's get to our first segment. Short hold or buy. Pretty simple game. You know how to play this by now. But for new players who are listening to this, we short hold or buy the following headlines to one day maybe become a reality. First one is a real tasty one. The Messiah returns. James Hird to coach the Bombers in 2027 and beyond.
I'm buying, and I've been on the buy for a while.
You have actually.
I think he'd be a great choice by the club for a number of different factors. I'm not one that buys into he hasn't coached for a while, he's not going to be able to coach. I think you get good people around him. I think he unites the footy club. He's a very, very impressive man and have been around him a little bit, but I think he fits the bill for them, and I think he's smart enough and humble enough to bring in the right team around him.
I'm going to use the media statement as I sit here today.
Okay.
I'm still holding. I just think once we start to get a bit more information flushed out regarding the Essendon process, I still think it's a hold at the moment. I feel like they're still in the early stages of where that all sort of sits, and I reckon we'll start to hear some stuff of who else is in that mix. Will give us a clearer sight of, well, he's clearly tabled he wants to be in it, but we'll get a clearer understanding of who he's actually up against, and then we can compare and contrast.
So you're going the actual media behind the scenes. I'm just going what I think that they should do.
No, I'm just holding. But if we ask this again next week, or I reckon I'll be more committed to either a short or a buy.
Okay.
Yeah, you happy with that one?
Yeah, I can do that.
Stand rule scrapped for season 2027.
I'm shorting that.
Yeah, I'm shorting the shit out of that one. I reckon they're locked into that. But I think what I might buy is some clarity around it.
Oh, some interpretation change.
Yeah, I'll just ask the guys who are having to rule on it, the umpires, hey, what would be a better way to approach this? And then filter that down to the football clubs.
Yes.
So, generational superstar makes his call. Nick Dacos unveiled as Tasmania's inaugural captain. I'm shorting the life out of that.
Yeah, I'm shorting that.
No way.
Well, there's no way that Collingwood are letting him go.
No.
He's in contract before when they come into the league. They're just not letting him do that.
I'll tell you what Collingwood will do. They'll employ someone full-time at Tullamarine Airport, and anything that remotely looks like a plane going to Tasmania, they'll ban him. They'll just rip him off the plane, and it'll be... we've got a cancellation here, the flight to Hobart.
Xander might sit at the airport and not let him go.
Eddie won't let him go.
Both of them.
They'll headlock him and put him back. They won't even actually, when Tassie comes into the competition, they actually won't let him play an away game down there. So, shorting. The AFL bans contact training for all AFL clubs.
No, I'm shorting that as well. I can't see how you prepare yourself for a season if you can't do contact training. Yeah. Plus, I think it'll make it more dangerous because people will get worse at contact, and then it's going to be contact when the season starts. Yeah,
I think what the AFL is doing is just making clubs to monitor it. Actually have a process of why you're doing contact training. They're protecting the players. It'd be great to also see clubs re-emphasise the players, and Eddie talks about this a fair bit, a duty of care to yourself. So not surrendering in the tackle, which happens a lot, and I'm seeing this already in junior football a fair bit. Players, as kids as well, they surrender in the tackle because they're told to, hey, let go of the ball. You've actually still got to protect yourself in the tackle. You don't have to fight it, like a thrashing machine, but when you feel contact, don't surrender in the contact. Don't fall. And I think it's unfortunate what happened to Jeremy Cameron, and again, it's not highlighting that bit. But Clayton Oliver's attack on the football that led to, unfortunately, Jeremy Cameron getting hurt was first class. He went hard at the football and turned his body and looked after himself. And again, park Jeremy Cameron. But I'm just focusing on the way Clayton Oliver still went at the football and still looked after himself. I think that's what we need to remind juniors all the way up to the senior boys.
Agree.
Twilight Grand Final becomes permanent after record viewership.
I'm holding this one. Do I want... I like the day.
I'm not talking about what you like.
Okay, well, I like the day, but I'm going to hold on it. I think it's a polarising topic. I just don't think the AFL are going to...
All right, I'm going to check.
They're going to do it now.
I'm going to cheekily say, I like the daytime like yourself, but I'm going to actually buy...
Commercialisation.
Yeah, which doesn't mean I agree with it, but they'll look at the numbers and they'll look at what Rugby League has done with their TV rights deal, and they'll just feel a little bit more of a pinch, pinchy.
Wouldn't surprise me.
No, that's why I'm buying it, not because I like it, but the AFL will see it and go, oh, you happy with that, are you? Take it. The AFL announces all players must wear headgear on game day. I am shorting that.
Yeah, I'm shorting that. There's no suggestion it actually makes significant difference.
I've worn the crash helmet. I wore it for a couple of years in underage football. So yes, it can prevent abrasions and can prevent some blows. Again, not getting too scientific and someone will hound me down, but there's not overwhelming evidence that headgear actually prevents concussion. So
because the brain shakes for
concussion. It's called slosh theory. So if there's your noggin, there's your melon inside the brain. Mm-hmm. Concussion's your brain rattling inside your head. So if you actually just put a layer on top, it actually doesn't prevent the slosh. You can still get concussed with a helmet on, but what it does do, it protects you from those, like an elbow or an accidental knee, really opening you up and splitting you. Still doesn't mean you won't get concussion.
Yeah.
So.
No, but I'm definitely shorting. I don't think they'll ever mandate it.
Yeah, and I've got proof of that because I've got 2 young sons at home who put helmets on and butt heads all the time. So.
Few concussions in the Bartel household.
Yeah, and I'm joking. Okay, I'm treating it very seriously. Right, I had the back over that one. Gather Round goes international. The US to host Gather Round in a landmark deal.
I'll hold this.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant suggestion.
With the AFL, and this is brilliant what they do, is they always condition you. So go back to 666 rule. Did I say 8 sixes there nearly in a row?
I'm not sure what you did
but
there.
The 666 rule, the stand rule, the third man up in the ruck rule. And then they threw like 7 ridiculous ideas at it. Yeah, the jumbo goal square and all sort of stupid things. It's actually really smart. If you actually want to get change, you actually then get people conditioned to, should there be change, you get them conditioned to what change you want. So when you actually had a look at the fixturing, there was 2 absolute stinkers in there. Shockers. But you notice now the discussion's not around fixture change, it's which fixture change do you want? So do you want 20 plus... we do the wild card even longer, or do you want 20 where everyone plays each other once and we reset? Or do you want 20 and then we do gather round, we do a couple of rivalry rounds and things like that? So now, you notice how 2 just went quickly to the waist.
You're saying there's a bit of PR strategy in the background?
No, it's a brilliant thing to do, because now actually people's mind goes to, what would I prefer, not whether I actually wanted it or not. So it's like, hey, it's parenting sort of doing it to you. So, hey, do you want to go make your bed or do you want to go wash the car? Kids will go, I'll make my bed. It's not like, hey, do you want to go make your bed or nothing? Sit and watch TV. Like, it's actually, you're getting them to make the choice. So what they've done really well out of the fixturing, which then will lead to this gather round thing, is you noticed in one of those fixturing ideas is call it the neutral venue round, which this could potentially be the neutral venue round, which is another way of dicing up gather round.
To be honest, I think US, and there's been a lot around the India push at the moment. The US is the one for me that I think is the smartest to try and take AFL footy.
Yep. So I'm holding that. It was a long-winded way of saying holding it.
Double hold.
Northern Territory to become the 20th club to receive an AFL licence.
Yeah, I'll buy that one.
They are front runner. What we've heard, they're a front runner over another Western Australian team.
I think so. Makes sense to be for them. For this, either them or Canberra should be the next licence.
I think our silly little man Richard might be back influencing Joe Campbell. AFLX is back after a plea from fans.
I'm not answering this one.
That is the correct and only answer, Sam. The AFL grants the first international club licence in its history.
I'll sell that.
Sell.
Sorry,
Sure.
short that. Wrong language.
Yeah. Introducing.
If they, and we'll go down this path.
Yeah.
If they were to, where would you do it? Who would you give an international license to?
Remember when the NBL had the Singapore Slingers?
No, I don't.
Yeah, they did. They had a team up in Singapore. Where would make sense? Some people would say New Zealand. Because New Zealand, they kicked in.
Papua New Guinea.
PNG. NRL's got the jump on there. Time zone wise, New Zealand, because then you can go game there, game East Coast, South Australia, WA.
Team in Bali.
Yeah. But do you know what the AFL do is if you put a team in New Zealand, they still try and find a way to make it overlap incorrectly anyway.
That was unnecessary.
That was a silly.
That was really unnecessary.
That was unnecessary.
It was so far off the path of scheduling.
That was like, come back. That was a big drive, boy.
Yeah, New Zealand for me would be
okay.
logical, but I don't think it'll happen.
Introducing the Super Goal Zone, kicks outside 50, now worth 9 points. Did you ever play pre-season comp with that?
Yep.
Yeah, so did I.
I don't think it'll happen.
No,
So
short. The G to get a roof in a massive redevelopment.
I'll hold it. I feel like Eddie's influence might just keep ticking away here.
Where is Ed right now?
He's on the roof of the MCG.
I think he's sourcing materials somewhere to build a roof. I wouldn't put it past him. I've got to short that. I think that one will remain open air. Mid-season trade window introduced.
Buy.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think it'd be great for the competition too. I've flipped on this. I was very much down the you can't trade mid-season because of IP of clubs, but I think there's too many examples across the league where players could really help other teams due to injury or not getting a game. I think it'd be better for the comp. Could be plonked right on that bye week we keep talking about. We can have the exchange period over the weekend. I think there's a lot of different ways that it assists the game. People will yell and scream about list management. That's blah, 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 blah. But I think it'd be a good thing for the game.
I'm going to hold, and I'm going to yell and scream about list management.
Okay, here we go.
No, I'm only holding. I'm not adverse to the idea. I just want to understand the mechanics of it first before I say, yes, I like it or I don't. Yes. So whether, and I'm talking about, does the player remain at the club just for those final few rounds, and then you've got to send him back, return to sender? As part of it is who picks up the remainder of the contract? Do you have to extend them out, for an additional year? So just some mechanics around it. Does it cost you draft picks? What does it do with list spots? Around the list management thing, I do like the art of list management, like building a list and then being able to pivot if things go wrong. And does that actually expose your club or your playing strategy to different things if you put under pressure? So what I'm saying is, Richmond might have been going this way anyway, but with some injuries and some young key forwards that didn't take, Jack Rewalt and the Smalls, they're able to find a different way to skin the cat and actually play a really breathtaking style of footy. So does it sort of close that out a little bit? So that's why I'm just still holding.
Just holding. Okay.
There we go. In or out? Are you in or out on the following statements? Alistair Clarkson has done enough for a contract extension. In or out?
I'm out at the moment, but he's still got another year.
Yeah.
This is not a, do I think he's doing a reasonable job? I actually think he's doing a reasonable job. But I also think there's an expectation that they take a big step next year for him to get one. I actually listened to Sonia Hood talk on the weekend. It's not too long ago. And she said the same thing. She said, he's still got another year to go in his contract. No one needs to rush to do anything right now. Let's see how next year plays out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm out because, he's still contract for another year, and let's see how it goes. Max Gawn should not have to nominate for a ruck contest because he's 209 centimetres in or out. Have you heard the audio of this? It's very funny.
It's very, very funny. Joe showed me pre-show.
Yeah.
It's
I'm 209 centimetres.
Nomination for me is just it's another one. It's another one of those rules that
easy.
Hey, two people go up in the ruck. If there's more than two go up in the ruck, then it's free kick against the other team.
Simple math.
Nice, easy way of doing it. Stops them having to yell at everyone and say, Max,
MA quadruple F, math, simple math. Carlton versus Collingwood on Saturday night will get 90,000 in or out.
Haven't checked the weather, but in.
In.
Yeah, I think it's going to be huge. Huge game for both teams, though. It's huge.
I always applaud AFL fans, but a special clap for the Carlton and Hawthorn fans.
70,000 at the G when it was absolutely howling
and it was
and raining sideways.
Ponchos on, Gritting the teeth.
There's two levels of this. There's the 70,000 that rocked up, and there was the, let's call it
25?
8,000 that were on the bottom level, just in their
I thought there was
ponchos.
more. Maybe I'm giving way too much credit. But yeah, we are so lucky with our fans, and that's, again, what we keep talking about. Don't take them for granted, our
Yes.
supporter base. The Eagles will play finals in the next 3 years, in or out.
I'm in. I like what they're building.
We
And they've
might
got
be
some
down to a
serious
final.
talent.
We might be down to a final 16 by then.
Yeah, you just keep. Let's
No.
do a full tournament.
Yeah, no, I'm in. I've liked what I've seen from the Eagles this year. It feels like they're now.
Yeah, they're on the way up. They're not on the hurt.
Yeah,
hurt way on down at the moment.
Love watching. I actually enjoy watching the Eagles for their players. And
Yep.
the next step is now watching them play as a group. But I'm watching them and I'm going, geez, I really like watching Shanahan and Dersma, Reed, of course.
Well, now you know what you've got. You've also got free agency where you can start to sell the hope of the young talent you've got, and then you can start to add around the edges of some players that will really assist the growth of the club.
Get some Western Australians back as well.
You never know.
Not footy related, but Conor McGregor should retire, in or out.
In and very, very annoyed with Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
I paid $60 for that fight. Just the fight. No, didn't watch any of the early parts. I was like, oh, I want to see what happens here. Takes his shoe off. Clearly injured. He couldn't even stand up while he's trying to take his shoes off.
One of the great quotes, I hurt my knee on my Nike TNs. Not a great sponsorship for poor Nike.
Just very. If there's cash grabs and there's cash grabs, that was an
Laid him on a break. Yes, that's in. Scott Pendlebury should go around for one more year, in or out.
I'm in. If he wants to go around for another year, I hate that we retire players that are still having significant impact. I think there's enough spots on the list to be able to keep some of your senior players, and all of us in the media need to calm down at the average age of your list. It doesn't really matter that much.
It doesn't matter.
Just keep the talent that are playing still good footy. Dangerfield's another one. Even if they only play 12 to 13 games a year and ready for finals, that's a big win.
I'm in. I want him to keep going even when he says he doesn't want to play. I want to make him play another year after. When he says, I'm done, I go, nah, you're going again.
You got to go again.
Yeah, sorry, man.
You got to know what it's like when you don't want to be.
Yeah. You're going again, and we're picking you up from home every day. The relaxed Gold Coast lifestyle is not suited to Damien Hardwick, in or out.
This is just always going to get you trouble.
Yeah.
No, I'm out on it. What? Sun's out. It's lovely up there. I know life's not going very well from a coaching front at the moment with the club, but the Gold Coast lifestyle surely is assisting his stress levels.
Yeah, you walk out onto the back deck. Oh, it's 21 degrees. Surely he enjoys that part of it. Not the way his team's going at the moment. If he was to get injured again, Max King should seek a fresh start and leave the Saints, in or out.
I'm out on that one. I like what the Saints are building. I think they've got some good young talent that's coming through, and he's a big part of that. Maybe plenty of players go over and see these certain specialists all over the world to try and help with the injury stuff. So maybe he might be off to do one of those football junkets.
Yep, I'm out. And you know why? Because I'm very bullish on the Saints. Melbourne can win the flag this year, in or out.
Tough one. I'm out on it. I don't have them in my top echelon of teams. I think they've improved enormously, but I think they might just be found a bit willing when finals time comes around, just in terms of their defence.
I'm out, but the thing Melbourne will do, they'll keep asking questions and they'll challenge the best sides. You know, Freo, of course, they'll still keep challenging, and I think that's been the real big positive when I've watched Melbourne in the last month, where we all thought, hey, you know, when winter arrives, it'll start to drop off a little bit. Sides will start to work them out. No, they've held their form, and they still ask a lot of questions of the opposition. They've got some senior players in great form, but they're still playing with this high speed and tempo. So you're going to have to score against Melbourne because they're going to continue to score as well.
Yeah, they're going to be. They're 100% going to be a finalist, and they will test the teams. I just can't see them beating some of the top sides at the moment when push comes to shove in the big final.
They did do this on the weekend. The Bombers need to experiment with Nate Caddy further up the ground so he can get his hands on the footy, in or out.
Well, I'm out. I think he's their most dangerous forward. I think he's going to be a superstar of the comp. He's going to have to learn to play, or he's going to have to sort of thrive as that key forward. That's going to be his significant role. When he gets more supply, he'll start to look better down there. But it's a hard year at the Bombers at the moment.
It's incredible effort too for him to find over 60 shots.
Yep.
In that side. So they played him a little bit on ball in the last 5 to 10 minutes of that game to give him a bit of a run around. So, yeah, he's their best front half player there at the Essendon Football Club. Hawthorn don't need Zach Merritt anymore, in or out.
I'm out. If you can get Zach Merritt in the team, just you're taking that. How they fit Zach Merritt and Ben King and co in that with their picks, how they're going to get that done, I'm not 100% sure. But if you can get Zach Merritt in your footy side, he is an absolute superstar.
Yeah, every club would take Zach Merritt.
100%.
Carlton will finish the season in the top 10, in or out.
I'm in on this. I like the way they're playing. They had let's call it a mulligan on the weekend, beaten by a really good Hawthorn in really trying conditions. They've got a massive end of the season. They're playing all the teams, like what we had the conversation we had with Gold Coast earlier in the week. They're playing all the teams around them. So if they're going to win them, they're going to earn it. So I think they get it done though. I think they'll sneak just in.
Time for footy tips, and there's some massive controversy in this at the moment. I am currently leading Eddie by 1, which this is extraordinary. And the reason why I highlight this, I'm not using the word cheating. I'm not.
You were off air.
No, I'm definitely not using the word cheating. There's some serious question marks because if I was leading by 5 and I've deliberately matched every one of his tips, how am I only leading by 1?
The allegation has been made about are Eddie's getting handed in after the games are played?
There was a text message that was sent to me by said person doing the footy tips that wasn't myself. That can you pass these on to someone at Footy on 9? And they didn't look like the tips that showed online. Like I said, I'm not saying cheating.
Well, it's coming out of your mouth.
I'm just not saying it. So somehow Eddie has fought his way back to being only 1 down. Thursday night, this is a tasty game. Geelong versus St Kilda. They're right next to each other on the ladder. The Cats will be, of course, without Jeremy Cameron, likely Tanner Bruin, and I can't imagine Jack Henry getting up for that one as well. Down at GMHBA Stadium, GMHBA Stadium, 7:30 p.m. GMHBA Stadium. GMHBA Stadium. We're getting a little bit loose here. Cats or Saints for you?
Give me the Saints. As we said, Geelong in a bit of a free fall, and Saints playing some pretty good footy at the moment. No Jez Cameron and injuries. I just feel like the Saints go down there and get it done in a small margin game, 8 points.
It's always safe to go Geelong at Geelong. Geelong by 1 point.
Last time I listened to you with that, though, they went and lost. So,
damn. Friday night, the Sydney Swans take on the Adelaide Crows, and it's kind of funny for a side that's in the top 6. They've quietly got themselves into the top 6. The Adelaide Crows, they've just built beautifully through the year, and that's still without having full years and top form of Walker, Fogarty, and Thilthorpe, because Rochelle and Keys are their 2 leading goal kickers so far.
Yep. I really like Adelaide.
I
have liked Adelaide,
but you do like the Swans.
I do. These are probably my 2. These are probably 2 of my top favourite teams to go with. I'm actually going to go with Adelaide. I just think they're in ripping touch at the moment. Swans, I still think, are trying to figure themselves out at the moment. So it's a huge clash. If Adelaide win it, they really stamp themselves as they're up the top end of the ladder for the rest of the media. I have them right up there, so I'm going to take them in a small margin game, also 4 points.
I've got the Swans by 3 points, and something bizarre will happen left of screen to the
Dane Rampy going to climb a goalpost or something.
Weird things happen, whether it's a mark late, Rampy climbing the goalpost, a shot that we thought that went through but then landed short. And we know goal umpiring hasn't gone Adelaide's way in recent times. I know I'm picking over a scab there. So you add those 2 factors, left of screen at the SCG, Adelaide Crows involved.
Something happens.
Something happens. Swans by 3 points. Saturday, Port Adelaide take on Fremantle, Adelaide Oval in the early game, 1:15. Of course, no Butters and potentially no Horn Francis. Freo.
Freo for me.
Do they take the full kit bag? Over?
Yeah, I think I don't think they're going to flirt with form. That's just my opinion of it. I don't know anything.
There'd be no Georgiades either, because
no Georgiades. If I'm them and trying to roll into the back end of the year, I just don't want to tinker with anything too much. As long as you're only resting players if they desperately need it. Having played in the bye never actually helps that much.
I hated the bye.
So I don't think it helps to rest too much.
Bye, that was. Freo by 20 points. I reckon they'll get in early and then just Coast in. North Melbourne versus Melbourne. Marvel at 4:15 p.m.
I'm taking Melbourne, but they're much better at the G. This is one of those games. If North are to make the 10, they have to win.
Yeah, boil over.
So they have to win it. But I am not taking that.
Melbourne
20
by
points.
Melbourne by 22 for me. Collingwood versus Carlton. Potentially 90,000 people at the MCG. Hopefully the weather holds off. The Carlton come back onto the winners list. Will Collingwood keep all their momentum going?
Pies are going very well at the moment. I'm taking the Blues. This is another in terms of the wild card, and I have said this before. I was a big hater of the wild card. I quite like it now. It's just keeping everything interesting. It's teams that shouldn't be alive are alive. If Carlton are to make the 10, they have to win this because they've got some tougher opponents that are likely losses. So I'm going to take them. I
know Eddie's going to go Collingwood, so I'm going to go Collingwood. Because
you're playing defense here.
Yeah, I'm playing complete none of that. No, I didn't jump off the Pies as quick as some others. I just think that the way that they're structured and organised, and a fair bit of credit's got to go to Craig McRae, the way he gets that team to be so disciplined and well organised. I think they made the adjustment quicker than I thought without Jamie Elliott, and there was always can be concerns of how they're going to score. Their ball movement now inside forward 50. They're finding free players. They're moving, putting Nick forward, DeGoey going forward, midfield as well. Just some of their rotations, they're getting some good results out of. So the Pies by 5 points.
I'm 6 points the other way. So
close. West Coast Eagles versus the Brisbane Lions. That's the late one, 8:10 p.m. on Saturday night.
Terrific. No, I think Brisbane. They're the form team. I think they're the form team of the comp. I think they've got Freo covered in terms of form at the moment, so they'll cruise on by 40 points.
West Coast weren't too bad against the Doggies, as mentioned. Like some of their players, the way they are playing their footy, and they're very watchable. I think Brisbane, they'll jump out to a big lead and then they'll just coast. But 28 points for me. Sunday's game, the early game at the MCG, Richmond versus Hawthorn. I assume we're both going the Hawks in that one.
Hawks, clinical, 47 for me.
Yeah, Hawks by 41 points. Gold Coast Suns. Now, you highlighted their fixture in a previous podcast. Western Bulldogs, they're back home, People's First Stadium, 3:15. Dimmer said the queue's in the rack, but surely he's not saying that behind closed doors.
You'd hope that he's not saying that behind closed doors because they can still make the 10, and once you get there, you never know what happens. Like I played in a team that was 1-8 or something, and then ended up winning every game for the back end of the year and ended up in a prelim. So there's still hope, which is what you're trying to hold on to at the football club. I'm actually taking Gold Coast in this. These are two teams that need wins, and Bulldogs probably going a little bit better than what I think they are, but ultimately they need to keep stacking wins in the back half of the year. But I'm going to take the Gold Coast. I just think they've been backs against the wall for a while. They need one. So at home.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Tim English gets up for this game. Of course, at different times they played the big rock lobster in the ruck. Even Kennedy did a bit of ruck work as well. But big Nelson Muntz, Moyle, he will be too much for Kennedy in the ruck. And then at least it'll get their midfield going. Hit to advantage, get them on the move, the Gold Coast Suns. I'm with you. I don't know why there's faith that Gold Coast Suns will get this win, but 10 points to the Gold Coast Suns.
I'm 9 points, so we're right together.
Essendon taking on the Giants to wrap up the round, 4:40 p.m. at Marvel Stadium.
Give me the Giants. Essendon going... they're going backwards at a rate of knots at the moment, and they look like they're just hanging out for the season to finish so that they can reset, get a new coach, and figure out the club in the off-season. Giants humming at the moment, so I think they win by 5 goals.
Well, Big Sammy Draper had a big smile on his face last weekend playing against Essendon. Jaden Laverty, who's playing really well for the Giants, and they missed him when he missed a game or two, and Jake Stringer in their game against, I know he's played against Essendon, but those two together against their former club, I think they will enjoy themselves and win that one by, let's say, 27 points. There we go. So just watch those tips get changed late by Eddie, of course. I'm currently leading that tipping by 1. So it'll be fascinating to see come around next round. Doc, we really appreciate you jumping on the podcast this week. Thanks for your time.
No worries, Jim.
That was Sam Docherty. We'll talk to you all on Monday. Follow Eddie and Jimmy wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube. Search Eddie and Jimmy.